In some of the assignments in this course, you're going to be required to include your sketching and process in addition to your final work. And this is really important to ensure that you get a full score on your assignment, but sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to take something physical that you've drawn and get it into the computer. So this will go over strategies of how to incorporate that. So the first step always is to scan or photograph your sketches. That's going to help you get them on the computer. And then we can start working on how can we turn them into a PDF or combine them into a PDF that we want to use. So if this is for a discussion and you just need to get the photos up there as a PDF, there's a lot of ways to do it, but I would really work in InDesign. So we can go to InDesign and we can create a new file. So I'm going to go to File, New, I'm going to create a document. I'm going to go ahead and make this a letter size because that'll work best. I want it to be vertical. And I'm also going to turn off facing pages. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple pages just so I have them and click Create. So now I have a blank document. Now what I can do is I can actually take the photographs I have of my sketches and put them in this file. So here's one of them. I'm just dragging it in from the desktop. You could also do File, Place. So you could also come up here and do it this way. You could go to File, Place, and then navigate to that on your computer and find those sketches. There we go. So here's some different sketches. These are from a former student. Then I can put them in here. I could even use the align feature and change this to align to page. And then I can do center and center, so it's right centered in there. I'm gonna move this. You wanna be careful not to move the interior of the file. Remember that InDesign works with a frame within a frame concept. So sometimes you'll accidentally use the direct selection tool, or you'll accidentally move the image that's inside that frame. So if that happens, undo is really helpful. I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna center this one as well. So now I have those sketches that I need in here. I don't really need this third page, maybe you do, but in this case I'm just gonna do 2 pages. So I'm gonna go ahead and come over to the Pages palette. I'll delete that page just because I don't need it. So now I have my sketches here. These are images that were from my phone that I then put on my computer and then I placed into this InDesign document. It might be smart to save these sketches just in case I need them. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a save on this file. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go to File, Export. And then I can actually export this as a PDF. So I'm gonna select PDF Print. I'll click Save. I'm gonna do smallest file size since this is going up on a discussion or being sent to an instructor, it's not being printed. We don't want a really large file. And I'll just use the default settings. I'll click Export. And then I can show you and I'll open that now I have a file that looks like this, which has all of my sketches on it. So this will be great. This will make it really easy to reference on the discussion. It's all in one place. We really want you to avoid uploading multiple images or files. So combining them like this is really the correct way to go about this to make it on the discussion in a way that's really usable. And it's also how your instructor is going to want you to do this. So that's a great way to get your images into a PDF that then you can post on a discussion. The other thing that might happen is you need to combine your sketches into another file that you already have. So there's some different ways to do that. If you already have your sketches as a PDF like this, you can actually use Acrobat to make that happen for you. So I can pull this tab out and I'll end up with 2. Then I can actually open this little side menu and click on this pages and you'll see that here are those pages. And if I do this in my final file, I know mine's blank, but imagine that this is completed, I can open up the pages here. And you can actually just drag and drop the pages from one file to another. So I'm selecting both of these, drag them over and put them where I want them in the file. And now when I save this PDF, those sketches will be at the beginning of the file, which is perfect. That's exactly what I want. So if you already have them as a PDF, that's a really great way to do that. You can also do it other ways. If you come up to File and you do Create, you can do Create a PDF from multiple files. So combine files into a single PDF. So that can be a great way to go through this dialog where you're gonna add the files and tell it the ones that you want to combine together. And then ultimately it will go through a similar process of combining them. Only thing that can be challenging about this is getting the order right. It might not be right. And if that happens, you can always move files around in here to get them in the right order. So that's the correct way to move those around. And the sketch is duplicated because we already had them in that file. So they're here twice, but that still illustrates the concept of how you can combine files using that feature as well. Another thing that you can do that can sometimes be useful is to actually build them into the file itself. So if I go to Illustrator, I have the Visual Principles template up here. So I have it here. Let's pretend again that you filled the entire thing out and now we want to add the sketches. Well, I can actually create more artboards and put the sketches into this file, so when I export it, it will export all together. So if I come up here to File and go to Document Setup, I can click Edit Artboards. This one's a little bit more complicated, but then I can take one of these artboards, and if I hold down Option, I get that double arrow, and I can hold down Shift and drag it down to create another artboard. And then I'm just going to create a few more. It depends how many pages of sketches you have. Like we talked about, I only have 2, so I'm just going to create 2. And once I've done that, if I click V or the direct selection tool, that will be removed. Well, I don't need this stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and delete all of this. Also, when you move an artboard, it'll unlock the text. So you saw that happened. But if for some reason you need to unlock, remember you can go to Object, Unlock All. That way you can delete everything there. Then what I can do is I can again drag those sketches here from my desktop, or go to File, Place, and navigate to those sketches. And then what I'm able to do is actually put them on the file itself, so when I export it, they will all be there together. So here are those sketches. I'm going to go ahead and place them. Then I get to load them up. And I'll just go ahead and put these on these pages. And then I'll use the Align function to get them centered. So again, I can change this to make sure it's aligned to Artboard. I'm going to click Center, 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 Center. And now if I come up here and do a save as of this file, those sketches will actually be included in the file itself, and I won't really have to do any combining. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. We want to arm you with different ways depending on how you have your sketches and what's going to make it easiest for you to upload them for grading. I'll go ahead and do this. I'm going to go to Illustrator Default. Then if I open this file, you'll see that my sketches are in here, but again, I need to move them to the beginning of the file. That's where they belong. But now they're exporting out of Illustrator at the same time that we're exporting the rest of the file. So that's another way to do this. So hopefully that sets you up. Hopefully that helps you understand how to get those sketches in these files, depending on the different scenarios that are created in this course, because we know that can be a little bit frustrating, and we always want to keep this as easy as we can. As always, you can always email your instructor if you have specific questions or something isn't working. But best of luck to you as you work to build these files and upload them for grading.